even if you decide to cancel someone, does that necessarily mean that we all have to follow suit? Or is it, especially for our culture, when like we cancel one person, it's like everybody has to get on board. But what if I don't agree with the reason why? So I feel like it's like a judgment that's hard to make. But I feel like cancel culture is kind of, I won't say it's bullying, but it's kind of taking over as like, well, if you don't agree with me, which is the time we're in right now, if you don't agree with me, then you're wrong, or you're not a good person, or I'm gonna unfollow you, which is fine. But a lot of people now, that social media has pushed people to be bullied into like feeling a certain type of way when they may not honestly think that.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another wonderful edition of the Good and Terrible Show. Her name is
Mickey.
My name is
Travis.
You're supposed to say my okay, good.
Yeah. It's funny that me, I'm like, that's not my name.
I was gonna have you say both of the names. But anyways, thank you guys for watching the last video, and please make sure to tune into this one as well and all of our videos because we're always dropping great content.
Number 6.
This is episode 6. We are dropping great content for you in every episode, and this one is no different. Today, we are dialing up the controversy, and we are sitting here talking all things cancel culture. And we are going to dissect what cancel culture means and why it's probably problematic. I know that's going to ruffle a little bit of feathers over there. But in our opinion, this is just our opinion, or my opinion and Mickey's opinion. There's two separate opinions here. So this is not a reflection of, what you may think, and you can feel free to disagree with us in the comments. Doesn't make you right, but it doesn't make us right either, even though we are. But we still love to hear from you. Please comment and let us know. If your opinion is whack, we'll let you know. But other than that, please
don't tell them that. Like, I'm not gonna comment. He's gonna say something. We're not gonna say it's whack.
Yeah. Well, I might say it's whack.
I'll make sure I answer all the comments.
She's the nice one.
I have the password.
This is why it's good and terrible.
This is why.
But okay, so we're here to break down cancel culture, and the first question that we really need to dive into is, what exactly is cancel culture, and how much sense does it make? So, cancel culture is basically the phenomenon these days of when somebody who's in the limelight, some type of celebrity, whether they're, an actor, a musician, an athlete, whatever they might be, whenever they do something wrong or make a mistake, get into legal trouble, whatever it is, the act of basically shaming them or making them disappear, acting like they're, not relevant anymore, basically putting them at the bottom of the barrel, which sometimes can be justified, sometimes it might not be justified, and we're here to break down why we think that is. First of all, what's your thoughts on cancel culture before we get deeper into this, Mickey?
I think that cancel culture, of course, is something new. I feel like last couple years, not even couple years, maybe like the last 2 years, you hear it more. Social media, I think, has made it even bigger. Canceling someone doesn't necessarily stop them from being who they are or stop them from being successful, if that is another thing too. Just because you cancel someone in your head doesn't mean that all their money stops or all their past wins or losses are now null and void. Even if you decide to cancel someone, does that necessarily mean that we all have to follow suit? Or is it, especially for our culture, when like we cancel one person, it's like everybody has to get on board. But what if I don't agree with the reason why? So I feel like it's like a judgment that's hard to make. But I feel like cancel culture is kind of, I won't say it's bullying, but it's kind of taking over as like, well, if you don't agree with me, which is the time we're in right now, if you don't agree with me, then you're wrong, or you're not a good person, or I'm gonna unfollow you, which is fine. But a lot of people now, that social media has pushed people to be bullied into like feeling a certain type of way when they may not honestly.
The first thing I want to know is who is in charge? Who decides
who's cancel culture
judge? Like, who's the one that automatically just comes out like, oh, this person's canceled, and now we all gotta go along with it, right? Like, who is speaking for us?
T.I.
The hymen checker. Who is speaking for us? Who deemed this cancel culture okay? That's his new nickname. Hashtag hymen checker.
No. Please don't. You going to hell for that? Oh my God.
There's a prime example. A lot of people, want to cancel T.I. because he wants to make sure his daughter is still a virgin.
His mind was he was thinking, he was trying to do. I understand why he did it. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I'm not gonna cancel him for that.
Right, and that's the thing too. Like, are his methods the right way to go? Probably not. He's probably far too extreme for what should be appropriate for a parent. I mean, I get the good intention behind it, right?
Yeah.
He's trying to do his best to protect his daughters and keep their morality in check or however you want to phrase it. But the method to the means is probably the wrong way to go, Mr. Harris.
My issue with him was not that he did it. Why did you need to share that with the world?
That's true.
It was very, as a woman, as a female, and of course being a teenage girl, once upon a time, I would be so embarrassed if my father went on national TV or social media and said, "Yeah, I take my daughter to get her hymen checked every year."
She probably was embarrassed.
She was.
She unfollowed her own father.
I mean, think about it. Millions of people, and that's the other thing too that I didn't like about it was that there's nothing wrong with virginity. There's nothing wrong with keeping it. There's nothing wrong with losing it. That's your decision. I don't feel like male or female, I can tell someone you have to be. Even my own kids, I'm gonna encourage them to wait, but I can't tell them, well, if you don't wait, because it's like the table's turned. Did you wait? Did you and Dad wait? You know what I mean? Right. So it's like I can't put that burden on them, but at the same time...
But you always want your kids to be better than you, too.
You do, but your children are going to ask you that question, and you should be honest with them and say, yes, I did wait, or no, I didn't. But my issue with him was that, why did he deem it necessary to say that to the entire world? That's between their family, her, and, it didn't need to come out. And to me, it was more so embarrassing for her because everybody's like, oh, and she's a very beautiful girl. They're like, oh, she's a virgin. Like, somebody said that Pornhub, sent her, which it came out to be a lie. Pornhub sent her, a message saying that they would pay her $1 million to lose her virginity in, a porn video. But Pornhub said that it wasn't true. It was, a rumor. But stuff like that, it's
you
like...
You seem to be well versed on Pornhub.
I'm not. Anyway, I just think that the way he went about it wasn't right. But that's a perfect example because people still now I'm done with T.I.
Right. And my biggest thing with cancel culture is, in most cases, to me, I think it's ridiculous. And now sometimes it is actually valid, it is actually justified, but most of the time I feel like cancel culture is really ridiculous and the people behind it are ridiculous. And the reason why I say it is because I don't think it's consistent. That's the biggest thing. Mm-hmm. If you're gonna, make this whole canceling thing, this whole notion of canceling thing stick, you got to be consistent with what we pick and choose as a people, as a society, to cancel. To cancel, right? You'll automatically deem one person canceled, or whatever. The biggest, most recent example that everybody can that everybody's formed an opinion on, and everybody can relate to, is the whole R. Kelly thing.
Oh yeah,
right. I mean. And no way, first of all, let me put a disclaimer out there. In no way am I condoning anything that R. Kelly ever did, nor am I defending him as a person at all. Everything that he has done is wrong, and he deserves to be in jail. But the whole notion of canceling his music, how people will take it to the far as they won't even. I know people that won't let their families play his music at a cookout anymore, or at parties, or they'll get mad. Or I've seen video clips of DJs getting booed for playing Ignition or something like that.
I saw it live. I saw a DJ get booed live, and I was like, "Ooh, he must not know what's going on right now."
See, and all that, you know what I'm saying? So I think another thing we have to break down with cancel culture is, what exactly does cancel culture mean? Does that mean we cancel everything about the person? Mm-hmm. Do we separate that person from their accomplishments? If they're an actor, do we cancel that person and all the movies or all the TV shows that they've been in? Mm-hmm. If they're an athlete, do we cancel the team? You know what I mean? Or the league? Different things like that. If they're a musician, do we cancel all the music, all the albums that to me that's ridiculous. And what they produce, because in R. Kelly's sake, he's produced a ton of different artists. He's written songs for a bunch of artists. Mm-hmm. A little known fact, well, not too little known, but a lot of people still don't know this. He actually wrote Michael Jackson's last #1 hit. which was "You Are Not Alone," 1996.
Yes, and you educated me on that. I didn't know that.
See, he's written.
I thought
songs.
Mike dropped that.
Yeah, oh, he did drop it.
I mean, he dropped it, but I'm saying I thought Michael Jackson. It sounds like him.
Right, it does sound like him, and that's the thing. But you can once you learn that, you can see the R. Kelly influence in the song.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, and that's the thing. He's written so many bangers like across 2-3 decades of music. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
For different artists.
My thing is like, if you want to cancel him, yeah, that's cool, but you also shouldn't consider somebody else a bad person just because they want to hear "Step in the Name of Love" or "I Believe I Can Fly" or something like that, which has been played at every high school and college graduation over the last 25 years. It seems like
they played it in church.
Even in churches they played it. You know what I'm saying? So, if you want to cancel
but that
R.
was
Kelly,
then, of course,
that's fine.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not. He deserves to be in jail for what he's done. Also, another little known fact is the way his record label is set up. They cut all ties, for him making money off of streams and stuff like that. Right. R. Kelly makes no money off of. This was years ago that they did this. Actually, he doesn't make money when you stream his music anyway. So even if you wanted to buy his music, it's not like it's really going in. So it
probably goes to the record label then, right?
Right. And the funnier thing is that people are literally like deleting music that they already own or telling people to throw out their CDs and different things. If you've already bought the music,
just don't listen.
It's not affecting R. Kelly in any way at all.
Yeah,
right? You know what I mean? Like, you can still listen to the music in your house
if you want.
I'll still play a couple of songs.
I've decided not to play any more R. Kelly music. He's been I have Tidal, so I stream all my music, but I removed his music that he is an artist on off a playlist. However, the catch-22 is the songs that he's produced, I didn't remove those. So I may be a hypocrite because he produced a lot of songs, and a lot of artists like B2K especially, a lot of their songs, their hit songs he produced. I don't want to delete B2K, but
so you'll bump B2K in the car, but you won't listen to Ignition.
Listen.
See, this is the stuff that don't be making sense.
Listen, but at the same time,
wait. First of all, pause. Who's still playing B2K in 2019?
What you mean the Millennium Tour 2 is coming out? They're coming here in March.
I heard Ashanti's on it now.
She is. I'm so excited.
I might come just because Ashanti's bae.
You just gonna see Ashanti and leave?
Yeah.
And Yin Yang Twins. You can't.
Oh, and Yin Yang Twins. Oh, I gotta say Yin Yang Twins.
I didn't go last year, but I heard Yin Yang Twins came out and people aunties because all of these women that were young then are. Include me. We're aunties now. Aunties, mamas.
I'll catch a cougar twerk. I'm not ashamed.
You don't.
She got her hands on the knees and then the bows in the thigh.
You got any fruit snacks in your purse?
Hey, listen, them older ladies, they might got a kid or two.
They have snacks.
They got the best snacks in the world, y'all. Shoot, get yourself a whole wife and get orange slices after every time you spend the night. With Capri Suns and Dunkaroos.
What's the halos? She just pull a halo out her back pocket.
The little oranges. She got Lunchables tucked in a waistband.
Feed them to you slow. Here you go, baby.
She got a fanny pack full of Teddy Grahams.
Listen, she make fried potatoes every Saturday.
Hey, listen, tater tots, curly fries, wedges, all of them.
Ain't no fast food at her house. All home cooked.
All her food fast.
Slice it.
Hey, but we digress. We off topic here, folks. So I mean, with cancel culture, the biggest thing is honestly, it's really not consistent. That's the thing that I think bugs me the most, because people really pick and choose. People love to say somebody's canceled until it's their own favorite person, right?
Yeah. Or favorite song.
Or favorite song.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? People real quick to cancel all of R. Kelly's music, but yet James Brown still be playing 50 years later. James Brown is a notorious woman beater. He's admitted to it. It's been shown in his biopic. You can go back and look it up for yourself. James Brown was out here committing domestic violence against women he was with, beating them down. 50 years later, I mean, all respect, to his music and the Godfather of Soul and everything, but facts are facts.
Well, we're not canceling James.
And 50 years later, people still say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud.
The big payback.
The big payback. I'm a sex machine. Get up. Get on up.
Yeah.
I feel good. See? Look.
I'm singing in my head.
Exactly. Look. See, exactly. And that's my point. That's my point right there. You know, Chris Brown and Rihanna, both of them. Boom. Chris Brown's a woman beater, clearly, right? Rihanna's a man beater.
He did it one time.
You know, the news articles came out at the time. Two things. One, Rihanna was recorded as being the first one to throw the first punch in that fight as the aggressor. And not only that, but she had records of being aggressive with previous boyfriends she had been in relationships before Chris.
Y'all push us to that point.
So this is oh yeah, but see now, yeah, but when we do it, we can't say that.
No,
exactly.
You can't hit a woman.
You can't hit a man.
Shit.
It's the same thing. See, look, boom, right there.
Like, no.
This is, right there.
I'm joking.
Right
there. It's not right. It's not right for her
in
to
either
put
case.
her
And
hands
both
on
of them
him.
still get played. You was bumping that song earlier today. That drip got you in heat.
Hey, listen. On the way to work, and
everything designed.
The subwoofer was turned up. The
yeah. Every girl in the world about to buy that new Rihanna album to come out next year.
She not dropping the album.
Everybody
Rihanna's
watched
done.
that Fenty fashion show.
Rihanna's done with us.
You know what I'm saying?
This is all we getting from Rihanna.
Everybody buying the foundation, the lipstick, the fuzzy slippers.
We're getting makeup. I'm wearing it
Neither
right
one
now.
of them
We're
cares.
getting lip gloss. We're getting clothes. That's it. Rihanna's not doing any more.
Neither one of them. Both of them still be, and both of them make good music.
Yeah.
And both of them, they both still around. They're both still relevant.
And I feel like they both passed that point.
Elvis Presley.
Oh God.
White people's favorite artist ever.
Child, listen.
Outside of maybe the
some
Beatles.
black folks.
Elvis Presley was dating a 13, 14-year-old girl or something at one point. Right? Go back and look it up. I might have the age a little wrong, but she was definitely illegal. I know that.
And their parents knew.
And the parents knew. Elvis Presley was messing around with them young girls.
But people will argue because that was a different time, which does not make it right. But you know how, like, back then, girls would get married at 15, 16 years old. By 20, you were an old maid. You weren't married by 21?
You got to go a little bit farther than that for people getting married.
For Elvis?
No, I'm saying for when people was getting married at 15, you got to go back a little bit farther than that. This is like 60s that we talk about here.
Okay, maybe not 60s.
Yeah.
Well, no.
Nah, people wasn't getting married that young. People was getting married like 18, 19. People wasn't getting married at 15.
18, that's not even 5 years later.
But this girl was a teenager.
I'm just saying, some people would argue, well, back then, 13 was a... No, 13 is 13.
50 years later, Elvis Presley still called the king of rock and roll.
King of rape.
And he was messing around with middle school, high school, whatever. However old she was.
And the other guy...
You can fact check the exact age, but she was young as hell. I know
the other guy that we talked about... I forget his name. Jerry Lee Lewis?
Jerry Lee Lewis. There's another one.
The movie, the story of his life.
One of the founders of rock and roll.
Winona Ryder. Well, we ain't gonna go there. Winona Winona Ryder, Lord have mercy, was in the film and she was playing a teenager, and Jerry Lee Lewis, I think he picked her up like she was she lived in the town he was in or something. I can't remember. But she was leaving from school, like middle school. He's picking her up in a car. He's a grown man. And as a kid, I saw that movie, and I was like, why is this grown man? I'm a child, and I knew that's not right. This is a grown person. People just swept that right in the rug. But the other part of cancel culture that people don't like to talk about is that it's different for black people, especially versus white people. White people can do a lot of stuff, and they'll just, and that's their culture too. Not necessarily us people in the rug, but they'll sweep it under the rug for them. But when someone black, especially, I'm not even saying people of color, I mean black. When I say black people of color, people say people of color, but I'm specifically speaking on black people. Let a black artist do something. Oh, it's like James Brown. They talked about that in the biopic. They talked about I don't know if Elvis had a biopic, but I know Jerry Lee Lewis had his. It wasn't a biopic, but the movie with him in it. They didn't demonize him for sleeping with this girl that was 13 years old, but they demonized James Brown. Not saying it's right, you know what I mean, for the domestic violence, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it's two sides to every coin, but our coin is always the one that's hit the most or whipped on. Or our artists are canceled. And
Charlie Sheen.
Yes.
Charlie Sheen went around giving everybody HIV.
And he knew it, right?
Giving people HIV.
And he knew that.
The people were real quick to sweep that under the rug. You don't never hear about that no more.
Right, it's illegal to do that. But let it have been Jamie Foxx that did that. Jamie would be no movies, no directors would want to work with him. People would be like, oh, he's a terrible person.
You can't have a conversation about Magic Johnson now without that being brought up.
Which I don't think is fair, because that's something you know what I mean? It's something personal that has nothing to do with him as an artist or anything like that. But yeah, it's two sides of every coin, and people don't like to acknowledge that black artists or celebrities are pegged more, and the white artists are kind of like, oh, he did that, but it's okay. Your boy from Seventh Heaven, I didn't know he was molesting girls.
That's right.
I used to watch that show as a kid.
He actually did kind of get canceled though. You didn't hear about him after that at all.
You didn't, but we didn't. It wasn't announced to us until now. Like the last maybe year.
No,
I didn't know.
That news came out like a whole decade ago.
I didn't hear about it.
Yeah, that's old news.
I didn't hear about it, but I was like, he's the dad on Seventh Heaven. Yep. Like it's like a family show. It's a Christian show. Out of all people, you're like this guy. But again, that's swept under the rug, and then something else comes out, and it's not saying that one is better than the other. Never saying that. But you have to acknowledge that as black people, we get pegged and picked and crucified, for lack of a better term, more than our
It's just not consistent. Even with black people itself. Even with us as black people as a society, we're not consistent with who. We are quick to be the first ones to try to cancel somebody, but let them be our favorite artist, our favorite rapper, our favorite singer, our favorite actor, whatever. All of a sudden, then boom, now everything's changed. Cardi B was a great example of that. Ooh. Oh my gosh, that completely got screwed up. She just made the cover of Vogue.
Listen.
She out there in Nigeria right now doing her thing.
Listen.
People completely forgot about the whole
that
thing last
hit
year
on a
real
Tuesday.
quick.
By Wednesday night, it was.
She was out here, admitting to, drugging men, and robbing them after drugging them, right? But we recently saw another celebrity get caught for drugging people that ended up in jail. We're not gonna name names, but that Cardi B joint went under the rug so quick. They probably got rid of the whole rug too.
And the other thing about that with male versus female is the men that may have fell victim to that will not come out and say Cardi B robbed me or Cardi B drugged me, because for men, which is not fair, you guys are supposed to be so strong, and so a man if a man came out and said that Cardi B raped, or not, I don't think she raped anybody, but said that they were drugged and robbed, they'd be like, oh man, you a sucker, Cardi B is X, Y, and Z, like you just trying to smear her name, and it's like
it's excuses.
It's excuses, but it shouldn't be that way. Whether it's a female doing something, if a female's drugging people, if a male's drugging people, wrong is wrong. Wrong is not, just one side.
Right, and everybody these days is so quick to be like, oh, it's okay. I call it the it's okay culture.
Yeah.
And people were, quick to be like, oh, she robbed them people because she had to do what she had to do to survive because she grew up in the projects, whatever. I know people that grew up in the Bronx. I know people that have been poor. You know people that have been poor. Mm-hmm. There's lots of people that lived in the project.
I ain't robbed and raped. I ain't robbed nobody.
There's a lot of people that
like,
come on now.
There's people on the streets right now.
Come on now.
That are living on the streets and they won't take anything from anyone.
Right.
And
luring people back to hotel rooms, struggling. That is soliciting sex. That's prostitution. That's illegal.
My issue with her with that was that she was saying it as if it was something to be proud of or glorifying it. She didn't say, I made a mistake. It's different when you come out and you reveal something from your past and say, this is what I used to do. I'm not proud of it. I don't condone it, but I'm just telling, she could tell young girls like, hey, I used to do this. It's not the right thing. She came out and was like, yeah, I was drugging people.
This is the same, like, what? This is the same woman that went on stage, and you can Google this. This is actual footage of this. She went on stage and told the girls in the audience if they don't have a job that they should be selling coochie.
She said that?
She said that at a concert, at one of her concerts.
Surprised. I don't listen to Cardi like that.
And this is what I'm saying. So it's because she's hot right now. She's, a lot of these girls' favorite rapper. Nobody wanted, everybody was quick to defend her. They swept that under the rug real quick.
She's not that great.
I agree with you.
She's not that.
But that's my point. If we're gonna do cancel culture, if this is truly something that we want to do as a people, we need to come together and decide what is cancel culture, and if it's something that we want to move forward with, we got to be consistent. We can't just sit here and pick and choose when we want to cancel somebody, because there's a lot of people that have done wrong things, some of which we don't even know about. Yeah, and are still around, still relevant. Actors, musicians, athletes, directors, all type of celebrities. And what's his name? Woody Allen, the movie director. He married his daughter or something like that.
It was like his stepdaughter that he divorced that wife and married his ex stepdaughter. That is just nasty.
Yeah.
Like, but then
People were still watching his movies after that. We can go on. Listen, feel free to comment below. I know this is a touchy topic here. Please feel free to comment your thoughts below in the buttons. Please subscribe, like, share the video. Watch it as many times as you can. Let us know if you want to debate me. That's fine. If you want to debate her, that's fine as well. We want the smoke. I could go on. I'll take the smoke.
I don't want the smoke.
I got time today.
I just want a conversation.
We can have a conversation.
Let's talk about it, because it's something that we all, especially as our culture, as Black people, we need to address it more. But then, even if we don't agree, let's agree to disagree. But I think having a conversation makes things clear, because sometimes something doesn't sound right until you say it out loud and you go, "Yeah, that's not right." So
maybe,
yeah.
But I got a long list of people that I can name. That's not it. We haven't even touched on the whole list here. So
yeah, it's too long to go.
I got examples for days. So we can go on about people that could have been canceled but ain't and still around. And again, does that make it right? No. But does it make it inconsistent? Yes. And that's my point. So thank you again so much for watching our video. This has been another rendition of the Good and Terrible Show. Her name is
Mickey.
And my name is
Travis.
And thank you so much for watching, everybody.
Bye.
That's your good, ain't it?